the conference presenters and participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Anita Rotich, a member of the conference committee. I'll give this speech from the Director, Research Center, Madam Agnes Rono. Karibuni sana. A very warm welcome to everyone, and thank you for joining us at our 9th RVTTI International Conference, whose theme is Embracing Change and Building Resilience in Tivet in Times of Uncertainties, the COVID-19 experience and other disruptions. This year's conference is in virtual format and is reflective of a major feature of the new realities of the education and training landscape. But the bonds formed over the past 8 years of this conference will not be broken, not even by a pandemic. I'm sure it will take the usual exuberance in virtual space. The overall objectives of the conference are to provide a platform to share the experiences the pandemic has dealt the education system and how these were met by different institutions, to share challenges and opportunities available for Tivet towards supplying resolutions brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. At this time, Tivet systems are only beginning to engage with the imperatives of online teaching and learning. Therefore, there is need to ensure every Tivet entity is brought on board to access foundational knowledge and skills and to collectively move in one direction at the same pace. The composition of online pedagogy is still being defined, and Tivet institutions are yet to embrace it in totality. It is hoped that this conference, as we discuss on the various presentations, some of the concepts, challenges, and opportunities posed by the pandemic will be understood and, above all, taken up and streamlined by all Tivet. Karibuni sana. Welcome all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Anita, on behalf of Madam Agnes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite our principal, Mr. Isaac Wambok, who will now welcome you to this conference and introduce the various participants present. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lukuyu. Our chief guest, ably represented by Madam Jane Kariuki, and all the guests, welcome to RVTTI International Conference. Our conference this year is totally virtual, and our numbers in the hall may not be that large, but it is virtual, and we have people all over the world who have been timed to be on at a particular time. So we are going to be very specific on time, and as we will be rushing, we may not allow much speeches. You'll bear with us. Let me begin by appreciating those who have come to be with us. And in this case, I want to appreciate my members of staff. Are you there? Can you stand? Members of staff of RVTTI, our chief guests, we are glad to have them. And they are not all here. Others are following us online. And the others are in class. You may sit. Allow me, a chief guest, that I also introduce the 30 principals who have come to stand with us in this particular conference led by our regional chairman, Mr. Mutai. I think for the 30 principals, we are few. I will allow them to mention their names and their institutions. Mr. Lukuyu, leading our keynote speaker. We can begin from the other side.
Distinguished guests, my name is Dan Mutai, the principal of Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology, Nakuru, and also chairman at the Rift Valley region. Thank you.
Chief guest, all conference participants, my name is Koya Charles, the principal at Kaiboi Technical Training Institute in Nandi County.
Chief guests, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Abdi Chen, principal Tindrich TVC, proudly associated with RVTTI as a former staff. Thank you so much.
Guest of honor, all protocols observed. My name is Ibn Faraj, principal Tango TVC, and the chair of Sports and Recreation North Rift Region. Congratulations, RVTTI.
Our guest of honor and all our dignitaries, my name is Dr. Edwin Tono, the principal of Keynote Technical Trainers College in Nairobi, and formerly at RVTTI. Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleague principals, for coming to stand with us. Our chief guest, allow me at this juncture to introduce the team that is behind the Tivet, the editorial board. Though they'll have their time sometimes in the program, but I just want to let them stand. I know the chairman will be introducing them as he'll be giving his speech. The editorial board, kindly stand. Kindly stand. Yes, let's clap for them. The chairman will be introducing them at a later time. Thank you. Our chief guests are ably represented by Madam Jane Kariuki, the chairman and members of the board of governors of RVTTI, the editorial board, the 30 principals present, the representatives of CC Afrique, Convet, Kaba, Sitves, Tivet, the Tivet editorial board, the staff of RVTTI, the conference presenters and participants. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to the 9th RVTTI International Tivet and Interdisciplinary Conference, themed Embracing Change and Building Resilience in Tivet in Times of Uncertainties, the COVID-19 experience and other disruptions. Thank you for joining us. We are very proud to host you at RVTTI and by extension, Eldoret. The last 15 months have been challenging in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of these unique situations, we could not hold our conference in 2020. However, we have managed to overcome this challenge in many ways, one of which is holding this conference virtually. This time round, in this conference, we have taken a blended approach where we have a few of us physically here participating, while the rest of the participants, mostly presenters, are attending the conference virtually. The COVID-19 pandemic presented a unique challenge which severely affected face-to-face learning. This necessitated a solution that could help mitigate the effects of this pandemic. On this note, we are happy that RVTTI has led the region in the matters of virtual learning. We have a learning management system which can be accessed through e-learning at RVTTI. This is an upgrade we did from Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Google Meet, which we initially used to ensure that learning continued. We have endeavored to facilitate our students and trainers by providing them with adequate internet connectivity on campus, and face-to-face learning in colleges was suspended for, when the face-to-face learning in colleges was suspended, for instance, we provided our students with 10 GB bundles to ensure they continued learning from home. This was facilitated monthly. Our chief guest, we appreciate the government through your office for the support we have received in the construction of our virtual learning center, of which we really attribute this to the efforts of Dr. Tarno, who was my predecessor. Despite minimal resources, we recently began equipping the VLC by setting up a studio, which Madam Chief Guest will request you to visit. We recently, by setting up the studio to help our trainers in the preparation of virtual lessons. We also invite even other institutions to come and prepare the lessons using the facility, of course, with a small fee. We promise to continue this process in the coming financial year in order to meet the needs of our students. RVTTI has been in the lead in technology. We hosted and trained the Rift Valley Regional CATI principals and their respective MISs on virtual learning. The participants in the training were taken through various learning management platforms, and this culminated in the development of the regional LMS, which is accessible through Masomo at riftvalleyregion.ac.ke. This initiative has enabled young upcoming Tivet institutions like Tarbo, which is represented here, in the region to have a platform for teaching online. RVTTI fully supports innovativeness, and in this regard, we, in collaboration with colleges and the Institutes of Canada, SAICAN, and linking industry with academia, LEWA, are running a 3-year, $1 million Canadian dollar IDRC-funded Tivet Innovation Fund, known as Supporting Innovation in the Technical and Vocational Education Sector, SITFES. The project and all the 3 sub-grandees of Pillar 3 will be presenting papers in this conference. We applaud SAICAN for working closely with us in supporting innovation in Tivet. We are also grateful for the support we have continuously received from the national and county governments in the delivery of appropriate training programs and facilitating of events and activities that further the government's agenda in education and training. Examples include the various students sponsored by the National Youth Service, Plan International, and those sponsored by the county government of Uasin Gishu and others. We applaud the Uasin Gishu government and also the governor for spearheading Tivet in this county, and we believe in Kenya at large. In the recent past, he has brought together the principles of Tivet in this region who overwhelming and fabrication because of a plan to sponsor over 1,000 welders within the next 1 year. I take this opportunity once again to welcome you all to this conference. Thank you all, and God bless you. At this juncture, members, I want to welcome Sisi Afrique, if they are around. Believe we have arrived? Sisi Afrique, representatives. You know, we are really rushing with time. Sisi Afrique. Tivet, Zambia. Are we there? Oh. Internet connection from our part. Their part. Oh, sorry. These guys were supposed to have come online, and I think we have a challenge all over. Kappa, they were also supposed to come online. Are they? Not yet. Sit first. So, on behalf of the industry, which was supposed to be done by Sitvest, we will invite Dipen for 2 minutes to say a word. Our brother. He's the guru in the industry.
The representative of our chief guest today, or the chairman of the Board of Governors, RVTTI, the principal, the Board of Governors, all distinguished invited guests, all protocols observed, the teaching staff and students of RVTTI, and all those who are joining us online, wishing you all a very good morning. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the chairman, the principal, and the Board of Governors for inviting me here today to speak for 2 minutes on a part which is increasingly becoming extremely necessary as far as postgraduate Tivet is concerned. My role, which was bestowed upon me by the former PS for Tivet, Dr. Kevit Desai, is to act as the director for, it's an honorary role, it's to act as the director for industrial linkage, which basically involves partnering industry with the Tivet graduates. I've said this here a few times before, and that once graduates graduate from Tivet learning institutions, there is a small gap insofar as their employability is concerned because of lack of experience. It's a phenomenon that is experienced globally by Tivet graduates, and our role as industry and my role as the industrial linkage director is to ensure that these linkages are strengthened and the employers and Tivet graduates
both get an equal opportunity to benefit from each other. I would not say much today. I'm sure I'll be able to say a little more tomorrow. But all in all, I would also like to thank my good friend who is, I'm happy to see here, Edwin. He played a very big role in whatever I do for RVTTI, whatever little that I can do. So with those few words, I wish all the participants of this conference all the best. And once again, congratulate the chairman, the principal, the board of governors, and all the staff at RVTTI for the great work that you do every year. Thank you very much, Asante sana.
Thank you. At this juncture, I want to invite the BOG chair, who will introduce the board members, and he will also give his remarks. Karibu, Professor. Lukuyo, sanitizer.
Our chief guest, Engineer Chen Kariuki, representing our PS. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me start with introducing our board members. We are 10 in number, but those who are present, please be upstanding. Start with our principal, Bwambok, Anakasaya, representing Governor Bwana Korir, Ungei, and Chen Sang from Moi University. We have some other members who were here yesterday. Oh, you have a member, Director Mtululi, Ishuki Mtululi, our Director for Tivet in Wasingishu County, is our member. Thank you, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference comes, and I know Professor Kera will tell me it's been here for quite some time, and I think one of the best Tivet conference in the country. It's really with at the time. This time round, we're looking at embracing change and building resilience in Tivet in terms of uncertainty. And for sure, this pandemic, COVID, and other areas, I come from this county, and tomorrow is July. I have never seen the state of farming in this county in July, the way it is this year. So this is the resilience I think this conference is talking about. A lot of things are changing. We haven't seen rains for the last 4 months, and any other disruptions. And there are going to be disruptions. However, today I want to congratulate the team that is been setting up these conferences, because this is really a series, and I think it's a conference to be or to go to if you are in the Tivet area. We congratulate the team, the chairman, and the people who are behind this. From our board, we argue quite a bit about what is technical and vocational. And today I'm speaking to you as somebody who has worked in the higher education, notably the university, and saying we hype higher education to university unfairly. Most of you may be averse or aware of the debate that if you don't have a degree, you're not going to be a member of parliament. What if you have a Tivet qualification? Are you going to be a member of parliament? You know, why this degree is making a significance. I wish we could say if you don't have a degree but have Tivet, you can be the best member of parliament, and any other areas that we need to see. Maybe we are not shouting loud enough for those people out there to realize anybody with a qualification in vocational or technical education actually make the biggest contribution to any economy in the world. The countries that have economically moved And I can cite 2 countries, Brazil and Korea. They rely mostly on Tivet qualification to a point where having a degree is not making a very good politician. So we really need to shout, and I think we have a number of organs in our country now that are beginning to be felt around. Kenya National Qualifications Authority, for example, are beginning to define our 10 frameworks. I wish we could, for 1 minute as Kenyans, think at what framework can you be a very good member of county assembly and above? At what framework can you be a member of cabinet in a county and above? At what framework can you be a member of cabinet in the national level and above? Rather than just saying if you don't have a degree, which you could from very unannounced areas, would make that. So let's build our Tivet. Let's build our Tivet to be part of our lives, in all the lives that we do. And I think by doing this conference, by publishing articles, stories, success stories, we begin to influence all the other doubting people about what Tivet is all about. In my experience, there has been 2 areas in the world that have not been believed, but they do a lot. The other area is military. In a lot of countries, thankfully maybe not ours, we have leaders who are military. And they do a lot of things that sometimes we don't appreciate, not even in our country. Our military is very Tivet, because they use technology much more than, say, any other discipline. And of course, as I say, in Tivet-led countries, like Singapore, for example, you begin to see how the country gets organized, but more important, how funds are generated, are created. Creation of wealth comes very big part to Tivet. Problem of giving a microphone to a professor is that it starts to teach. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day for our workshop, and we want to welcome everyone as the board of RVTTI. I want to finish by paying a lot of tribute to our former principal, Edwin Tarno. We've been interacting with him at the KTTC, Kenya Technical Trainers College, and I'm happy maybe we will not say to announce that it's changing name to Kenya School of Tivet, which means that everybody in the Tivet must go through his hands, and really we are very happy, Edwin Tarno, that you are able to spearhead that change. We give you all the support. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome our guest, our chief guest today, Engineer Chen Kariuki, to speak to us and to officially open our conference. Engineer Chen.
Good morning, everyone. I am the chair of this institution, that is the board members, the principals present, our county director in Washingisho, the participants. Good morning once again. It's my pleasure to come and represent my boss here. You actually don't take it for granted that among the many officers that we have in the ministry, my peers decided that I'm the one who is going to represent her. I'm very delighted. For all my working life, I have been in the Tivet. I have seen it changing from those days when very little support was, Tivet was being given, very little support. And today I can say that the ministry have done a lot. These institutions, the way they are in 90s and in the 2000, they were not the way they are. I know the ministry is giving a lot of support, which personally I'm happy with. And I also hope that even as the institutions, we're also happy with it. It's not my day. Let me read my PS's speech that I was given to come and read here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to join the Rift Valley Technical Training Institute community on this occasion to mark the 9th International Tivet and Interdisciplinary Conference. I take this early opportunity to congratulate RVTTI for its outstanding accomplishment in research and innovations. I note with appreciation the successes realized by this institution through hard work, resilience, and commitment. Indeed, the theme of the conference this year, titled Embracing Change and Building Resilience in Tivet in Times of Uncertainties, reflects the global disruptions and hard socioeconomic experiences caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the government made a decision to close all learning institutions on 15th March 2020 in an effort to curb COVID-19 spread. This decision resulted in the disruption of nearly 17 million learners countrywide. The socio-economic costs have had more devastating consequences, especially for marginalized learners. During the crucial period, the ministry resolved that learning continues through technology-mediated platforms, online learning, or learning through TV and radio programs. With such learning, while such learning took place in urban areas, it was not the case for the marginalized children in remote villages, including ravaged children in the camps, as well as those living with various disabilities. Learning through mediated technology remained out of reach for many disadvantaged children due to connectivity challenges. It is encouraging that learning continued on the online platforms for RVTTI trainers despite the challenges. I commend the RVTTI for being one of the first Tivet institutions to fully undertake online teaching. As a state department, we appreciate the fact that RVTTI plays a role in building the capacity of the other Tivet institutions in the Rift Valley region on online teaching and learning. Ladies and gentlemen, the government through the State Department of Vocational Training is committed to enhancing the quality and relevance of Tivet to achieve the industrial needs and also meet the international competitiveness. This sector that is expected to be an enabler in the implementation of the Big Four agenda, and the government is keen in the ongoing Tivet reforms. The ministry is on course in the establishment of a technical and vocational college in every constituency where great strides have been made. We are determined to equip Tivet institutions with the state of art for them to offer relevant training that meet industry and society changing needs. And maybe at that juncture, I can say that so far we are only remaining with about 57 constituencies that do not have a TTI. We were able also to equip 144 institution, and there are still others that we are continuing on. I applaud the RVTTI for pioneering the establishment of virtual learning center funded by the government through the ministry. Its completion will provide training opportunities to many trainees outside of the confines of the institute. This is in line with the ministry's strategic plan to increase access and enhance equity in education and training. Indeed, the ministry seeks to provide open and distance learning in Tivet and other learning institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, the government launched competence-based education and training, CBET, policy framework to provide direction and guidance in the implementation of the CBET system in Tivet institutions. I'm happy to note that in preparation for the implementation of the CBET approach across all the programs, RVTTI, in collaboration with Tivet CDAC, successfully trained all the trainees as assessors and verifiers in 2019. All Tivet institutions are encouraged to mainstream the implementation of CBET in their program to restore the glory of Tivet. Other ongoing reforms include recruitment of more Tivet trainers, increased capitation for Tivet trainees, and increase of the allocation of HELB funds. In its recognition that RVTTI has mentored 9 technical training colleges, and once again, it has been chosen to mentor the North Rift Technical and Vocational College in Tiati constituency. The growth of this additional Tivet institution will go a long way in ensuring access and the benefit of the people in the area and its environs. Ladies and gentlemen, it is encouraging to note that the number of conference presentations is on the rise, not only in number, but also in their presentations over the globe. I urge the private and other organizations to partner with Tivet institutions in developing the ideas and innovations generated from such events. In this way, the day-to-day society problems can be identified and plans for solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the government through the State Department has invested over 36 billion shillings in infrastructure development and equipment to prepare and train Tivet trainees for both the industry needs and international competitiveness. Currently, the government set aside Kenya shillings 30,000 capitation for each Tivet trainee annually during their course. Finally, my gratitude goes to all the scholars, the researchers, the innovators, and all the partners who have ensured the success of this conference. I would also like to commend RVTTI for the sustainability organizing the annual International Tivet and Interdisciplinary Research and Innovation Conference and publishing the research papers in peer-reviewed journal, the Afri-Tivet. Thank you. That was the speech from our Principal Secretary, Dr. Margaret Mwakima. Thank you very much. I declare the conference open.
Thank you so much, our chief guest. Thank you for that presentation. I now humbly request you to declare the conference open, at which point now, sorry, it's been done. So I want to humbly request all those sitting on the stage, now that the conference has been declared open, we need to start seeing things of the conference taking place. So I'll request you to come to this side, and then we shall continue. So ushers, you'll carry their chairs for them, please. Tables, please. So ushers will also bring where the next item we're moving to is a launch of the journal. Ushers, kindly move the podium up. And the sign language speaker, you'll move to the stage. So at this juncture, I want to invite our chief editor, the chairman of the editorial board, to present the 6th volume so that it can be launched. Professor Kerry, you can introduce your team at that point, and then we will launch the journal. Welcome. Our chief guest, Engineer Kariuki, the chairman of the board, RVTTI board, the principal, other principals who have joined us, and distinguished guests, good morning. I've been told my name is Bonaventure Bongala Kere. I'm the chief editor of the Tivet journal, of which we are going to launch the 6th volume today. But before we do that, please allow me to make a few comments. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce the members of the editorial board, those who are here with us. I know because this conference is online, there are others representing us in other countries in the region, in Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, etc., and Uganda. So for those who are around, please can you stand up or quickly come and introduce yourselves.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ahmed Perej. I am from University of Eldoret.
My name is Dr. Sami Chumba. I come from my university.
My name is Edwin Tano from KTTC.
I'm Isaac Bambok from RVTTI. James Kosgei from Rift Valley Technical.
I'm Agnes Rono. I'm the managing editor and I'm from RVTTI.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this editorial board is one that is behind the publications on research in Tivet. And as most of you know by now, that the Afri-Tivet Journal is an international journal that is well respected. And you only need to Google Afri-Tivet and you will see the comments, and the contributions, and the findings hitting the globe and where this is used. It was established by RVTTI, and thanks to Dr. Tarno, who actually should be the founding editor. Although I am the chair, I came in to give support. But, you know, he is an astute Tivet professional, and with the likes of my colleague, Ahmed Faraj, for the RVTTI students, I think it would be important for you to know that RVTTI has been the crucible for Tivet professionals in this country. Ahmed Faraj and I were here in Form 1 in 1967. And so you can see the journey we have traveled. Tarino and the others, Kitainge, our students have joined us. And I don't think you can find a group of professionals that struggles all the professional areas, from teaching in our institutions to the universities, professorships like ourselves, and also in policy, in planning and administration. And all those heading Tivet in this country are the products of Tivet themselves and our institutions. It's a platform for research, which actually the results of which inform policy, planning issues, curriculum development, etc. So it's a very important undertaking, professionally and internationally, and for upcoming scholars and students, those who are especially in the Tivet area, which, as you know, in Kenya has taken a lead in the region because of the support that Tivet has got from the government and the efforts put in place by Tivet professionals, including ourselves, Fereja and I, as the gurus in this area, promoting it in Africa, the entire region. So I wish to thank those of you that have taken part, contributed to this journal, and that in contributing to this important international journal means that you have had to meet the certain thresholds, which are strictly professional, and therefore I thank you and congratulate you, and particularly for those who have contributed in the 6th volume, which we are going to open today. So, I think with those few remarks, then I think we should do the official opening of the journal. And I encourage all of you to read, and especially upcoming scholars to contribute articles in these areas. Thank you. Yeah, I think we'll call the chief guest. Chief guest, come and join us with the chairman and the principal, so that we launch. We can open this channel. Karibu sana, chief guest. Okay, as he opens, can we clap, please? Karibu sana to the new baby. Thank you, thank you. And the journal is online. It's free. You can, get into it. So it's really a major contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor, for that. Let's give them a bigger clap. I now humbly request also to use this space, our chief guest, our County Director Tivet, our Board of Governors Chair, Editorial Board, our Principal, our Board of Governors, Editorial Board, members of the industry present, principals present, participants, RVTTI staff, and everybody. Good morning. My name is Richard Lukuyu, and apart from being the Master of Ceremonies today, I am also the Quality and Information Security Management Representative of Rift Valley Technical Training Institute. Courtesy of Dr. Tarno. Can you give Dr. Tarno a clap? RVTTI was ISO 9001 certified in the year 2010. We have successfully maintained that certification not only on paper, but in word, act, and deed. And Mr. Bobok has now taken us to another level. Can we give our principal a clap? This year, we embarked on the journey of implementing Information Security Management System. That is why my title changed from QMR to Q and ISMR. Can everybody say Q and ISMR? You know, many people bite their tongues when they're trying to say that. So I'm the Quality and Information Systems Management Representative of the Institute. We started the trainings. We had a top management briefing with our consultant. We are using Maya Consultant Limited to take us through the process, and they have partnered with us well. We then embarked on a training of the process owners. We have trained more than 40 process owners who are conversant with ISMS, Information Security Management System, which entails confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. After that, we went through the risk treatment process, identifying the risks associated with ISMS, identifying how to treat those risks, and then embarked on revising our documentation so that we can run an integrated management system. And today, guest of honor, I want to invite our principal, in your presence and witnessed by all these here, to officially sign our policy statement to mark the beginning of our implementation of ISMS in RVTTI. So our chief guest would cut the ribbon for you to be able to sign, and then we start our ISMS journey. And the ribbon is cut to unveil our integrated management system policy, which the principal will officially sanction, witnessed by our board of governors. So board, when I ask for money to train people, You know why. Thank you so much. So, effective today, we have started implementing information security management systems in RVTTI. If you're a member of staff, ask the others who are not here with us, are we there? So thank you so much for that. The next item, having launched the journal, having launched ISMS, we want now to present to you. The conference goes hand in hand with innovations. So we want now to award the innovation winners. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you so much, our MC, our chief guest, the Board of Governors, the principal, other principals invited, and all the guests, the staff and the students of Rift Valley. Good morning. Thank you so much. I want to take this time to tell us briefly what happened with the innovations. But before I say so, my name is Dr. Jose Kiplagat from University of Belgrade. I'm currently the head of department, Technology Education. Our Vice Chancellor would have wished to be here today, but he did ask me to be here on our behalf. And so he sent a congratulatory message to Rift Valley. I know we worked very closely together, and we have done a lot of things together with Rift Valley Technical. And I also want to say that today we also represented highly here. I've seen Professor Kira, Professor Sommer, Professor Farage, and I'm sure there are also other members here. And I want to say that as a university, we'll continue working with you to advance the activities of this institution. So I want to say that when we started this process a few weeks ago, there are many things which we are developing in this country, especially the issues of COVID-19. And we really had to discuss and agree on how we are going to handle the innovations. And at some time through the leadership of this institution and the organizing committee, we had to agree that judges were to go to the ground where the innovations were. And I want to say that we had 6 judges who were external, myself, and then we had Professor Okuru from Technical University of Kenya. We had also Itembei and Ngugi from TUP. And then we had Evans Kitur, who was in Eldoret National Poly, but has been now he works at ICD. And then we had Dr. Salim Rono from University of Belgrade. And from internal, we had 4 judges who are also helping us, who are working together, being led by the innovations coordinator, Koske. And then we had Kitusi, Abraham, and we had Okoth and Getich. I want to say that we traveled the Nairobi region, the central Kenya, Rift Valley, and western Kenya. And we had 44 entries, which was cutting across various categories that had been advertised. And one of the things we noticed is that some of the institutions had a lot of entries. And I want this morning to recognize Sangolo Institute. Out of the 44, they had 18 in number. And I also know we had others, like Mondori, which had 6, which was already. But I just want to say that what we noticed is that the more the entries in an institution, we realized that there was a lot of competition, even internally. And the chances of producing somebody was very high. So this is something I think we need to encourage, that in future when we call for such competitions, please encourage as many people as possible. And I also want to say that today we will not see the physical innovations here because of what I've said, but I want to say that the judges did a very wonderful job. And one of the things that it came up during our field exercise was that there is need for these innovations to go beyond what has been done now and to give them an avenue for commercialization, so that it goes beyond this competition, so that and some of these innovations were wonderful. It can do a lot for this nation and even beyond. And I want to thank so much the Rift Valley Technical for the support it gave to the judges when we were in the field. I know you did your best, and I also want to say that the judges sometimes they went extra to ensure that the job was done. Some of the work we would even do until late in the evening, and people did not complain. So others, thank you very much. And at this point, what we have done this morning is that out of the 44 entries, we ran the first 10. And what it was done is that the 10 of them were invited here today. And so we have the 10 of them invited. And then we have also another category, the RVTTI Principals Award. So what will be done today is that we are going to award the first three on the main category. And then now we have the one student that is going to be categorized under Rift Valley and will be also appreciated for what the person has done. Interestingly, out of the competition, we noticed that out of the four that we are going to award, they came in teams. And interestingly, each of those teams is a team that has more of female, two of them, and then there were also two categories of the male. It came interestingly when we were doing the final analysis. And that was very good when we finished the exercise. So for us to be very fair with these results, I want to invite the Innovations Coordinator, Koskei, so that we can have the results, so that he can present to us, and then we'll have those who have won all coming in front. Thank you so much for the work well done. Asante Daktari. All guests invited. Good morning. I've been given an envelope, and people are going to smile some need to go. When it comes to innovation, RVTTI has been the leading institution to nurture innovations. And the judges invited 10 participants due to the corona pandemic, and we could not be able to have them physically in RVTTI. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take a lot of time. I want to go straight to number 10. Wherever you are, we are going to award number 1, 2, 3, and the Principals Award, RVTTI Principals Award number 1. So if you are between number 10 to number 4, you are going to stand and then we are going to clap for you. From number 10, we have an eyebrow welding machine from Samalo Institute of Science and Technology. We have Leah Nelson. Let's give it one more clap. This individual innovator gave us an innovation where we can be able to weld using water and salt, and they were able to demonstrate welding for long durations of time. Congratulations. Number 9. from Nyandarua National Polytechnic. Purity Nyambura. We have the electronic circular system. You can now be able to order groceries, fresh food direct from the farm, straight from an app made by an ICT student from Nyandarua National Polytechnic. Position number 8. Ladies and gentlemen, from Nairobi Technical Training Institute, we have a water-based refrigerator from Emily Mudoni and Anthony Ochia. Let's clap for them. So now we are moving from electricity to a solar water-based refrigerator. Congratulations. From number 7. Number 7, once again, Nyandarua National Polytechnic, we have semi-automatic chain link machine. Semi-automatic chain link machine from Hudson Jerobo and Philip Caro. The two gentlemen can now make for you, the whole of Nyandarua Institute, they have fans that they made themselves. They have a machine that can be able to make. It is semi-automatic, now has a gear that you can be able to step on it, and we have the chain link. Congratulations. Again from Nyandarua National Polytechnic. Give it up for a vehicle security system from Peter Mburu and Joseph Nang. We can now be able to start and control our cars in guidance of Peter Mburu and Joseph Nang straight from our phone. You can start the car, stop the car, trace the car, and congratulations. Position number 5, from Kisii National Polytechnic. Give it up for Titus Okech Ochie. Titus is making a variety of banana pine products using bananas. We have banana wine, banana jam, and a variety of products straight from the garden. Kisii National Polytechnic, congratulations. From the far end of the farm, we have Matenge Technical Training Institute. Position number 4. Position number 4. We have James Muguna and Anthony Musi. James Muguna and Anthony Musi, they are at the back. The way their place is also far. We have a poultry plucker. This was our first innovation as judges. You just have a chicken, you have the machine, you can pluck it in 5 seconds. Clean. Clean. And we said that the competition was tough. It means that everybody who came to top 10, they were tough people. They were competing in terms of decimals. So if you are number 10 and number 1, the difference is just small. And we say that we saw wonderful products. And if we add these products in RVTTI, you could be amazed. I think some of you could still be outside wondering what is going on in the world. And now we go to position number 3. These are the people who are going to smile all the way. Courtesy of our principal, who has been very supportive. So those remaining, you can show that you are going to go with something. And I'm going to go to position number 3 from Nyandarua National Polytechnic. Nyandarua National Polytechnic. So Nyandarua National Polytechnic
they are innovating a semi-automatic math machine from Josephat Muthiga and John Mugo. Please come forward. Please come forward. This semi-automatic math machine, they have a small machine that looks like the sewing machine. You see this red carpet here can be made straight away from Nyandarua National Polytechnic. So Josephat Muthiga and John Mugo, we are going to give them an award of 50,000 Kenyan money. I'm going to call upon our BOD chairman, Professor Sommer, to be able to give out the award to them. Then they can come here behind so that we can have a photo session. You can pick the check first. Yes. Then you can, after picking the check, congratulations. Congratulations. You can come behind here. Then position number 2. The winners of Kenya shillings, 100,000 cash money from the Sangalo Institutes of Science and Technology. We have Anita Nekesa, Sophie Clay, and Ofan Tilimo. They have an African multi-occasional outfit. I wish they were here with outfits. It changes into 4. You can have it as a wedding dress, a dinner dress, a trouser, a cap, a bag. Very beautiful. I wish that I had told them to come with it, but they could have gotten an end to the. So I'm going to call Chief Principal KTTC, Daktari, to be able to give out the award to the 3 contestants. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us position number 1, who are coming up with a smart farm, all the way from Nairobi Technical Training Institute. Purity Wanjiku Kamuri and Eugene Otieno, come forward for your award. 200,000 money. I'm going to call upon a representative of the chief case engineer to come over to award the check. Karibu, madam. So we have 200,000 Kenya shillings. It is real. People are winning money. A smart farm does a lot of things. Can be able to monitor a lot of things, temperature, moisture, can be able to check on, can be able to open the valves of a greenhouse, all those features. If it's hot, it can be able to coordinate. So once you leave your job, your greenhouse is going to have water, moisture, and all those things all combined together. Congratulations. We are coming to the final award. Ladies and gentlemen, because of time, I'm going to just call number 1, direct. This is the RVTTI Principal Award. And position number 1, we have may teach Dennis with online vehicle parking system. This is money direct from the principal, and the principal should be able to give it out himself. So this is the award of the principal. This online vehicle parking system, sometimes you go to town, look for parking, go street from street. This system is going to show you straight whether it's parking or not. You can pay in advance before leaving RVTTI and reserve a parking. Congratulations, Dennis. Yes, so, Bwana Principal, you can step up with them, and we have our Professor Some, and we can be able to take a photo with them with the checks. Dr. Taro, who is our founding father of innovations, he is the brainchild of the innovations engineer. We can have a photo with them. Professor Kere, we can be able to have a photo with them. Chief Judge. So RVTI make things reality, make things real. And okay, photographers, are you ready? When you see things come and move, I'll want this back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You may now take your seats. Thank you for those innovation awards. As we proceed with the program, you heard our chief guest say that they place students through the Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Services, otherwise abbreviated as COOCS. And we have a representative from COOCS here. Please, because you're a key player, just come and say Jambo from the front. Allow me to break protocol a little bit. Just your name and who you are.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Christopher Yagon from Kenya University Placement, Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Service. We are very happy to be with you at this great moment, and I want to bring the greetings from the CEO, Dr. Agnes Wahome. Tivet is our center of interest when it comes to the placement services. We take you seriously, and we are together in this exercise. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much. We now want to have our keynote presentations. We have 3 keynote speakers. One of them is physically present. He'll present as number 2. The first person to present is Andrea Leporda. I hope I have pronounced it right. He shall be online. So we want to welcome our first keynote presenter, Andrea Leporda. Our technical team, is he online? Let me get the details. Agnes, please, come a minute. So Andrea is a master class in Germany. He's on screen now. Andrea, can you hear me? Andrea, can you hear me? Put your thumb up if you can hear me, please. Your microphone is off. Sorry, I can't hear you yet. Just a minute, we cannot hear you. Test your sound. Andre, can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. All right. Looking up. Hello, Andre. Can you chat Graham so that he can... Okay, you can see on the chat we have people from Zambia. Just show us that chat again. We want to see where we are being listened to as we engage Andre and see if we can get to hear him. Technical team, please, the sound. Could you text him a message, please? Graham, can you get him online? Your volume is on.
Yes, now it's on mute. The microphone is. My microphone is working. Okay. Well, I pushed the microphone apart. Is it better now? Okay. Okay, the problem is I don't know what's happening. I'm trying to speak, but we have a delay. So you can hear me after some seconds. We have a problem with the line.
Sorry for that technical hitch. May I humbly request Dr. Tano, who was the second keynote speaker, to come up and make his presentation while we're managing the online challenge. So I hope at least we have your presentation ready, sir. So our guest of honor, the engineer, Jen Kariuki, who is representing our Principal Secretary, Dr. Margaret Makina, the chairman of the board, Professor Some, and the chairman of the Tivet Journal, Professor Kere, Professor Faraj, the chairman of Tivet board, and the council members of this institution, and all my colleague principals and participants. Yeah, I hope it's still morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a bit chilly here in Eldoret, but not as bad as Nairobi. I'd like to take this opportunity to say hi to all of you. It was about a year ago when we had another conference here in 2019, I think, and it's been a long time. I moved from this college to Kenya Technical Trainers College recently, last year, and I'm happy that the process of international conference is going on and the culture of innovation awards is going on. This is very exciting. For me, you need to clap for yourselves. When we started this program 10 years ago, we didn't think it will hold, and now I'm happy that it's still moving on. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce my colleague who I came with, Mr. Okinda. Mr. Okinda, everyone knows Robert Okinda online. That is the man. He always says he has a big body and a small voice. So when you hear him speak, you will notice the difference. So I will just want to present a paper. I don't know if it is possible for it to be put online. I will take a very short time. I've been given some few minutes. I'm a good teacher, so I like talking, but unfortunately we have very limited time because of online people. We will not be able to. I just want to make a very interesting observation. I've been asked to talk about the 21st century trainer. Who is a trainer for the 21st century? What kind of technical teachers we want to have in the 21st century? I don't know whether they're able to connect that. The trainer for the 21st century. In the year 2015, I was asked by the Africa Regulatory for Teachers Council, which TSC was a member, to present a paper on the Tivet teacher for the future. In 2015, I quoted Professor Kere a lot in that article, because Professor Kere had written an article relating to that. The interesting part of it is that Professor Kere's and my thinking at that time, we now, that is 2015, all the 10 items you mentioned, only 4 are relevant. Did you hear what I said? Half of what you mentioned as a teacher for the Tivet in 2015 is now been overtaken by others. I don't know whether you don't seem to be able to get my presentation. So I will be able to just pass on the trends that have come. The United Nations recently gave trends that create the kind of technical teacher. There are 10 trends that were mapped between 2019 and 2020. And then in February 2021, a report was released that indicated what are the key areas. We also have a report from the International Labour Organization on which the presentation was able to appear. It will be easy for you to see. Okay. Yes. You can move to the next slide. Unfortunately, I can't see you. I wish I was able to watch the screen, but it's okay. So, maybe you can move me here. Thank you. So that we move together. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So let's move on to the next screen. Don't worry about that. That's an introduction. Let's move on.
And that is KTTC, for those of you who have not been there. It's in the middle of a jungle called Karela Forest. Some of us were students there. It's still very, very serene next to the United Nations. And that is where most teachers in the next 10 years will be trained. It's going to turn to Kenya School of Tivet. And you must have heard from now that we have changed so many things. At the beginning of this year, my friend from KUBS will tell you we stopped students from Kenya universities and colleges coming to that institution because we wanted to change. In May this year, we transferred 1,400 students who are doing technical courses to other colleges. You must also have seen a lot of storm on my part in the social media being busted here and there because I moved students from KTTC to other colleges in Nairobi. And I want to thank God that on June 2nd, we got the first students of the teacher trainers, 1,200 fresh, that will be now moving into the new technical training for technical teachers. Technical teachers have a new way of looking at things, and you'll be able to see that. Let's move on, please. The next slide. There are several types of disruptions that you have seen there. I don't know why it's not able to move on. Again, types of disruptions. Yes, that's all of them across. We have several disruptions. A lot of us think that disruptions only appear because of COVID. COVID is actually among the last ones. And the simple reason is that COVID is a pandemic that may come to an end as we await other pandemics. The truth of the matter is that if you look at the future of the world, pandemics are going to be here for a long time. So don't ever imagine that when we are done with COVID, there will be none. But we have climate change. Those of you who are aware of Baringo, schools have been submerged. If you have been to Nakuru, we have now lost Lake Nakuru KWS offices are under the water. These are some of the disruptions that will interfere with Tivet. We have the fourth industrial revolution. We call it 4.0. A lot of people have not understood this. This is the movement to a new automation and robotics world that is coming in the fourth, it's called 4.0 revolution. Use of artificial intelligence, for instance, in teaching, will now become an area that we need to look at. If you go to migration, migration is an issue. We have millions of migrants currently. In 2019, I attended a conference in Germany where I was a panelist for the migration, and they were shocked because for the first time Europeans got immigrants. We told them in Kenya we have had Somalis for 20 years and we are okay with them around here as many as they are. They were shocked about the migration. That is an issue now. What do you do with migrants that have come to your country and they have their own basic skills? We have demographic shifts. Demographic shifts, this one is normal. You talk of 70% of Kenyans, for instance, are 70 years and below, and 35 years and below, 70%. But if you go to Europe, it's the opposite. So what happens? How will you work? How will the workforce be in the future? Digitalization. This is an area that we work on, and the majority of you took part in a survey that we took, we undertook. Move on to the next one, please. Now, these are the trends. They are 10 trends, members, that we mapped over several 3 years ago. And out of the 10, only 6 affect the teacher. And the technical teacher for the 21st century should be able to do the following. Number one, that teacher should be digital in his operations. You will be seeing later on the data that we collected from Kenya Technical Trainers College for 168 institutions. And it is shocking that a lot of teachers are not grounded in ICT. Not even from our technical colleges alone, even at the university. Professor Farag will tell you, they are also struggling to actually go online. So that is the first item of the teacher now from this century, that you must be IT compliant. The second one is, of course, the ability for us to collect data. And that is why Kenya Technical Trainers College became Kenya School of Tivet. And I'm happy Jane is here, part of the people that have been looking at some of these things. Kenya School of Tivet will become the center for dissemination of information, collecting data. Most of you principals who are here, every week there is a circular that is telling you to collect some data, and it goes to KTTC for data collection. And I want to thank Mr. Okinda here. He's one of the top-notch urban trainers in Kenya. Actually, very soon he may be leaving Kenya for an international assignment. We want to congratulate him in advance. He will be the first Kenyan to be in the position he's going to hold. That will be very interesting to imagine an African holding an international position that has always been held by other people. So we will be collecting data, and it is important that we get the data of the teachers. How many are they? What are their levels of education? What is going on with them? How many are we looking? How many have gone for further studies? The other aspect that is very important is the problem, which is the assessment in-service training. Now, this is very interesting. We must assess the teachers to do in-service training. Kenya School of Tivet, in one of its aspects that has been taken to the Attorney General, is to continuously train technical teachers in in-service. We have already developed systems of getting you to be trained using the in-service systems. So, that in-service will be in two ways, which you will be seeing in the next slide. The other aspect is the high quality assurance, which is focusing on industry. In the proposal that is being put forward, you must, according to Tivet Acts, Section 23 and 25, you must go for an industrial attachment at least 2 full months in every 3 years. That will be the new norm for the technical teacher. We don't want a situation where the teacher has less information than the student. Because of time, I will move faster. We have all this, you'll be able to see this when we send. Just move on to the next one. This is the most interesting slide. This information comes from KTTC's data collection, which has been done from last year, and we keep doing it. This is the latest. It is actually, we did it in the month of February. Now, the question is, how ready are we to go online when the disruptions came? Last year, when the disruptions came in April, there was no technical college that was able to proudly say they were online. KTTC was able to do maybe up to 15-20%. RVTTI, at the beginning, I think we had about between 5 and 10%. Most of the other colleges did not have Tivet. 1 year down the line, that is after going through several aspects in which I was appointed, and Okinda and other members who are here, Mr. Tom, I think Mr. Tom, Mr. Tom, we were in the committee that was appointed by the government to quickly look at how we can assemble and make sure that Tivet goes online. I'm so proud to mention that 1 year exactly down the line, we were able now to go online. And between 55 and 70% of the courses were online this year. But the most interesting thing is not that. What do you think is the best mode that was used to train students during online training recently? Can you guess? Which method do you think it was? Well, you're shocked. It is WhatsApp. Look at this. WhatsApp had the highest number of use. Of course, there were multiple users, so many people are using different modes. But WhatsApp, which you have been chatting with every day and sending very funny political messages, can actually become a very good tool for teaching. So, when a student says they are not able to access online, ask them whether they chat. And if they are able to chat with their friends and take selfies and send, they can actually go back to class with it. So, that is the reality now, and we will be seeing this documentation. Move on to the next one, please. Now, this is the in-service that Kenya School of Tivet the mode that will be used to train the technical teachers. One is program content. You must, that's why we put here, what's the future focused in in-service training. Program content. That is where you will align the changing needs of the learners. The second one is pedagogy. Now, pedagogy has become a very interesting thing. Professor Some was last week with us in a meeting in KTTC in which we called 20 stakeholders to come and talk to us on whether they think the technical training for the technical teachers is correct. I want to mention, with the permission of Professor Tere and Professor Faraj, and also the Vice Chancellor of Dedan Kimathi, who actually came to present himself, Vice Chancellor Professor King, they were honest that the technical education diploma degree currently is not responsive to the needs of the technical trainer for the 21st century. That is a fact now. There are now suggestions that are very interesting. One of them is, do we have consecutive degree and diploma, or do we have concurrent? The current one that is being used by technical universities to teach TED is concurrent. That means you're learning engineering while at the same time you're learning pedagogy. Now, What has been recommended now worldwide is that you complete your course in engineering. If you want to go to Kenya Power, go and work at Kenya Power. If you want to teach, go and get a postgraduate diploma in technical education. Then you will be grounded in your field, and now you choose whether you want to teach or not. I was so proud of Professor Kioni's submissions, and he was honest as a vice chancellor that they're actually working on that change. Look at the Teacher Service Commission. What did they say last month? The same story. Is that true? These are stories. It is in a paper which was published in 2016 by Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. We studied it. It makes sense. Germany does it. Finland does it. Most countries out there are doing it. Get grounded in your field, then make a decision to become a teacher or not. This is the future of the technical teacher. And you can see the modes of delivery will change. You must go to the industry. You must engage the stakeholders continuously. That is why Mr. Dipen is here. Mr. Dipen, I'm happy to also mention that Jane and me are working on a committee that was appointed recently by through the President's directive on recognition of prior learning. So we have actually rushed from where we were to come to this meeting and go back there. Presidential directives, you don't try this at home. So recognition of prior learning, how will the teachers be able to recognize learning from a Juakali artisan? The President is very clear. In the next less than 6 months, we must be able to see that people in the Juakali industry can actually get a certificate from the learning that they have done. I've seen Dr. Nyango when I was here, who has been painting our vehicles very nicely. I'm very sure he does not have a very clear certificate. We need to look at that. Can the teacher of the 21st century assess this? Is that teacher competent? These are the things that must be done. That is why going back to school becomes a very important aspect. I have 2 minutes, so I would like to move to challenges, and then maybe I'll just sum up, because we can't be able to go through all this. These are the interventions that we expect to work on. So I would like to really appreciate that, and I know we may not be able to do everything. So basically, you will be able to get most of the items that I have put on my paper online, and you will be able to engage us through the email that you've been given at KTTC. I think you can get the members to be able to look at that. You can also get that on KTTC, and these are the journals that we also, the reference material that you can also go through and look at what is going on in the 21st century. I really want to thank you so much for listening, and hope that when we now start the journey of asking you to come to KTTC for 2 weeks program, it will be less painful. Please welcome to KTTC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ari. As you take your seat, I want to invite a maximum of 3 questions. A maximum of 3 questions or comments. I'm seeing one hand up there. Mr. Muluka, quickly.
My name is Muluka Samu from Rift Valley Technical. Thank you so much, Dr. Editorial. And I wanted to make a small comment that that kind of way of training is very good. I want to echo what the trainers are now talking about. TSC are having more in their pockets than the trainers. So if we are training us to do a good job, and we are training people for the work market, then we trainers must be well done to train better. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Mbogwa from Nyandarua National Polytechnic. My question is on the issue of science in Tivet institutions, where we have chemistry, we have physics, we have those science courses, and some are prerequisites to the engineering courses. When we come to train the trainers over the skills, and even currently as they teach or train in the institutions, there seems to be a missing link. How do we work on that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Last question.
Thank you. My name is Eid Faraj, the principal Turbo Technical and Vocational College. And I want to appreciate that Engineer Jane is also here, as we appreciate the presentation by the principal KTTC, Dr. Tarbo, who is my mentor. As we migrate to digitalization, we want to ask the ministry to equalize institutions in terms of digital content and digital equipment, so that as we move together, because we cannot compare Turbo and RVTTI in terms of implementation of digital content. So as we go on, we ask the ministry, when they implement, they look at that in terms of which institutions have these facilities and which ones don't have, so that we can all roll down together. Thank you.
I had said 3 questions. Prof, can I leave you out, or is it a pressing question?
Mine is just I have a question. For about 10 years, I've been wondering, what's the difference between a trainer and a teacher? That will be the key to going forward.
Thank you. I may not have all the answers, but I'll quickly try to go from the knowledge that I have. Jane is here, our engineer, can be able to make some comments on this. But I'll just answer the areas that are of concern. Number one, Mr. Mbugwa Sons and Tivet. You may be aware that the new style, the new Tivet system is that we'll have STEM, science, technology, and engineering and mathematics in the final 2 years of secondary education. We will also have technical education in secondary. We are back to what we left several years ago, and this time it will be mainstream. In fact, one of the quickest things that has pushed us and the ministry to force KTTC to move at speed is because by 2026, the cohort which is in standard 4 will now be in upper secondary, and they will be required to have technical teachers. The question is, where will we be able to get 21,000 teachers that we require to teach technical education? So that is why it has become an urgent issue. So STEM, Daktari, will now be part and parcel. So we may not have a problem. What will now happen is that you start early. And Professor Kere told us these things 15 years ago, that start teaching people from primary technical education, and then you become much better. The other one is what Mr. Faraj talked about, digitization. Mr. Okinda is here. I wish you had time, but maybe you can join KTTC website later on and see the data we have. We collected data on the colleges that were able to work using the digital technology. 168 colleges took in the sample. 168 is almost 3/4 of all technical colleges that we had. And that was a very good response. Surprisingly, small institutions, including one called Tigania, is able to go online very comfortably. And surprisingly, some big polytechnics were not able to go online. Did you hear what I said? Yeah, so those are some of the issues. So I think the question would be for you as an institution to also push the ability for you to do that. Finally, the question of TFC and PSC. I sat in a committee, this is just on behalf of Kati, in which we worked on your schemes, which have already been taken to SRC. The schemes will be completely different. We'll even change the titles that you have. Things like principal will cease to be, they'll become directors. So I think the government is doing something on that. We are aware that we are slightly behind, and I think that is why that move was there to generate that committee. So this is just from the information that I was a committee member on this. So Mr. Manuka, don't lose hope. I think the future is brighter. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Allow us to move with the program, please, Prof. Please, kindly.
Thank you. I wanted to
make an attempt to answer Professor Some. He asked a very fundamental question. What's the difference between teaching and training? In educational philosophy, teaching goes along with education. Teaching at the basic education level is laying the foundation for our children, for our young people in all areas of learning, giving them a foundation so that at the post-secondary, post-basic education, they may be able to choose an occupation. I would like to be an engineer. I would like to be a doctor. They can go into training. To train is to simply emphasize on skills, imparting knowledge and skills, but for an occupation. But at the lower levels, where the curriculum is broad, we are concerned with many areas. You must be scientifically literate, technologically literate. You must also be in the languages. You must be in other areas.
Thank you, Prof. Next, we want to go back online, all the way from Germany, with Andrea Leporda, who is a master trainer in Germany. He'll be streaming live online, and I'll hand it over to our technical team now to hook him up. He'll make a brief presentation and then share the content with us.
I don't know if you can hear me. I see that my microphone is not on mute anymore, but I'm not sure if you can hear me. Okay, Monica said, thank you, Mrs. Monica. She said it's clear. Now, first of all, nice greetings to everybody from Augsburg, Germany, and special thanks to Mr. Bambock and all the staff of the Rift Valley Technical Institute for this invitation and the possibility to give you some information and ideas about Tivet in Germany. How do I come to Kenya? Maybe some words on my person. I am part of a German action group which is trying to support 2 Tivet institutions in Baringo County, and we are trying to bring in some German ideas and experiences from our work in the Tivet system. I've been an expert working in Tivet in Germany now for about 10 years, and my role here in the Chamber of Crafts, I am organizing trainings, I am developing new trainings, and I'm also a trainer myself, but to a lesser extent, only about 10%. For the day today, I had basically one presentation which should give you an introduction to an international Tivet system, namely the German one, but this one is too long. So what I can make, I send this presentation to Ms. Monica, and maybe she can spread it into the group if you are interested to see how Tivet is done in Germany. Very shortly, it's a dual system, so we have a part of our Tivet is done in companies, a part is done in professional schools, and maybe a very small part are off-plan trainings which are run in the Chamber of Crafts or industries. Now, as I said to you, this is simply too long, but it should serve as an introduction to international Tivet systems. Now, as the topic was this kind of disruptions like COVID, I made another one, a shorter presentation, where I want simply to show you up the problems we are facing with COVID during the last 1.5 years. And Miss Monica told me she would put you this presentation on screen so you can see what it's about. Please apologize, I made it last night, so it's not very fancy without pictures, it's only about words, but I think it's a good idea to see what's happening in Germany. Now, if we are talking about the start of this whole thing, how it started with COVID, how it affected the society. You know, we had here, or maybe you don't know, but in Europe, in Germany, we had the first cases in January and February of 2020, so last year. Until then, life was quite normal, people were enjoying their lives, and also the Tivet system was running as usual. Then we had a massive rise of cases in March last year, and the government had to react simply. The problem in Germany, we are a federal state with 16 administrative regions, so the government was unable to find national solutions. Instead, we had a lot of regional approaches and solutions, which made it very difficult for everybody to follow. For us as a Tivet institution, but also for learners and the rest of society. In my region, where I'm living and working, we had a total lockdown on the midst of March, 16th of March in 2020, and this affected public life, schools, administration, etc. And we needed a rapid change and also an adaptation to the situation, because there was a lot of problems coming up. Once you said you have a lockdown, this means you have to decide what to do with Tivet. You shut it down completely and wait for better times. One idea which has been running for years is this approach for e-learning or digital learning. But even if it has been talked about or has been a topic for years, institutions served completely unprepared for the situation. There was a lack of equipment in Tivet institutions, which was basically infrastructures, so no computers or less, other devices to access internet, lack of cameras, headsets, and so on. Then, on trainee side, the students could not come to school. They have the problem that some of them are poor, so they cannot afford electronic devices to access via internet, especially in families where money is a problem or many children. Not everybody will have a laptop or a smartphone or something to attend electronic courses. A big issue, even if everybody who's doing trainings is prepared and knows how to run trainings in presence, there was a lack of concepts for e-learning. You have to go for another way of teaching. And you can easily imagine, if you are thinking about theory lessons, this can be done easily, it's feasible, but how do you make practice trainings in workshops? How shall this work if it's based on internet, on e-learning? It's very difficult, or maybe not at all to reach. Also a problem with our trainers, they were lacking experience for these kind of trainings for e-learning, and this was regarding everybody, our fixed employed trainers, but also the freelance trainers which we are cooperating. What was other problems? We had to interrupt some of the trainings till May 2020. So, and since then we've had several lockdowns and further interruptions. So this is a massive impact on the current traineeships. Some of our trainees are not attending the normal courses. They are doing a shortened program. Many lessons were missed. So they might have disadvantages not only in their knowledges, but also on the labor market later, because sometimes employer may ask, have you been one of the trainees during this COVID period, so maybe you do not know everything. We believe that the students before were better. This is a challenge they will have to face. For training institutions like my chamber or other authorities, we have the problem that there was a lot of additional costs for masks, sanitizers, tests. I think these are experiences you are also facing in Kenya. We have the problem that the planning of trainings became very hard, very difficult to plan. because, some months were simply missing out of the year. We had to think about how to catch up, how to deal with the capacities in our workshops and also for our trainers. And which is also a big problem, especially if you are doing free courses, which you have to sell on the market. The students, trainees, are very unhappy, very unsatisfied with the situation. Most of them prefer to have a training face-to-face, to see the trainer, and even if we had a lot of work in the background and we are trying to do our best as trainers, as facilitators, you will still have the students unsatisfied and complaining and saying, it's all not good and it's not good organization. So it's very hard to satisfy anyone in these days. Overall scene, we had a great or increased administrative work, and this because we have to assure the quality in the ongoing Tivet and at the same time handle the COVID restrictions and protocols. One of the bigger problems we have is how to run exams. We are used or experienced in running exams in presence, face-to-face, but not on a digital base. We did not have the experience and infrastructure for this. A big problem is to motivate the trainers for e-learning, but in my eyes, even the biggest challenge is to keep the motivation of the learners high, so that they do not go outside or take a tea. They sit in front of the computer and are interfacing and interacting with the trainers. So this is really, really one of the hardest things when you are talking about e-learning. Overall scene. We had a lot of problems in the beginning, but I would say that the system has adapted to the situation. My impression on Germany or generally on Europe is we are doing quite well now for the moment, but if there is another diseases to come or new disruptions, I have the impression that we are still not very well prepared. This transformation process of Tivet towards e-learning is a process which will go on for years. It's a still ongoing process. But we have to admit that COVID has been a promoter for this necessary change and for this transformation process. And by this I am done with my presentation. I hope it was short, but could give you a first impression. And I am very glad to hear some questions from your side.
I hope you can hear the applause. Thank you so much for that presentation. Two questions. Professor Farage, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm surprised that in Germany you had the problem of issues related to digital equipment like laptops and internet and things like that. Now, it's interesting that Germany, which is a first world country, would have that problem. Now, you can imagine then what happens here, where our students, the best they could have is a smartphone as a basic. But that's a problem that we faced when we tried to go online, that there was not enough receiving equipment on the part of the students and the internet backup in order to be able to do it effectively. Thank you very much. It's not a question, it's more an observation that a problem that is being faced by the first world country is the same problem that is being faced by the second, third world countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Farage. Any other question? So last question, all the way from the back.
My name is Daniel Wahungu from Thika Technical Training Institute. Now that I have an opportunity to ask a question from for somebody
from Germany. In Kenya, we are experiencing a very serious challenge of skills mismatch, especially in the engineering programs. Has German had that problem of skills mismatch, and how has it been handled in German? The issue of the skills that are being offered in Tivet and what the industry is looking for both formal employment and for self-employment. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Andre, if you can answer those two questions.
I have to apologize. I did not fully get it, the question. The sir asked about how the students would handle what? I did not get it acoustically all.
I will make it simple. I'll just read very few words.
I didn't get it simply.
My question is on skills mismatch. What is the situation in German with regard to skills mismatch between training and the world of work? What is happening in training and the world of work? That skills gap, the mismatch. Hope you have had it. Then you can help me.
Thank you. Andre, are you able to respond?
When the scheme is like I can tell you a little bit about this because it's actually it's what my work. As I told you, I'm a developer for trainings. We have especially maybe it's on a different scale, but we are facing similar problems. If you take the national curricula for a craft, like for electrotechnician, yeah, some of these curricula have been 20 years old, so it's not at all realistic in facing the demands of the current job market. So what we are doing here, the curricula have to be renewed, reactualized one in some there is no fixed period. So sometimes it might take up to 20 years to have an actualized curriculum. But we have a big market for the so-called further education. So this means even if the Tivet system can provide only a certain amount of information, you can attend additional courses to qualify you for the labor market. So my part here at the Chamber of Crafts, I am doing a kind of a market research. What do the craftsmen really need in the market? Then we know what do the curricula provide. What can we provide as a training provider respecting the curriculum? And then we have a gap. And this gap is closed by so-called further education. So trainings which you can buy freely on the market and can attend in order to be better prepared than what the Tivet system provides. But we have also differences between what is taught in Tivet institutions and what is really needed in companies. In fact, the companies are complaining all the time that the students are not well prepared for the job market. But I think one international problem, the companies would do not enough to prepare themselves, the students. So in my eyes, and this was something where I started with Kenyan Tivet institutions, we talked about this. We said, if you want to have students prepared for the job market, then it's not only the Tivet institutions who have to provide and do something, it's also the companies. Because if you look in the countries like Germany, we have a so-called dual system. Around 70 to 80% of our Tivet is done in companies and not in professional schools. So this means it's exactly these companies who have to step in and do their job and try to provide the trainees with good knowledges for the labor market.
Andre, thank you so much for those responses. We really appreciate your input and we appreciate the time that you have taken to be with us. Thank you so much.
Nice greetings to everybody from Germany.
So allow us to proceed to the next presenter. Thank you, Andrew, all the way from Germany, streaming live. Now, the next presenter was also going to stream in live. That is Dr. Joey James. Agnes there to give? He has sent his presentation because of technical challenges again. While you're waiting for that, I see we have been joined by another guest who I'll just give the principal 2 minutes to introduce him, and then we proceed to the next item. Brother Principal, please welcome and introduce your latest guest.
Thank you, our MC. With us members is His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Western County, Honorable Chemo. We had expected also the Governor to join us, but we thank God that we have the DG. So for a minute, we'll ask you, DG, to say a word. This conference is actually virtual. It's only a few of us who are here, and the people who are elsewhere have been given some timelines when they'll be coming online. So just a minute, sir. Welcome.
I don't have to go to the pulpit. All protocols observed. Good morning. I'm delighted to be part of this meeting. I appreciate and acknowledge the role of Tivet in the society, and I'm a big supporter of the same. I'm happy to join you. It's good that somebody far has acknowledged how important Tivet is to them. And for those of us who are in this place, we should not look for other sources of inspiration apart from what we have been what we have heard. The other day I was reading about the founder of Zoom. He's a Tivet person who was having a problem of going to see the girlfriend using a train for 9 hours. And the idea came from how you could communicate with the girlfriend very close. And that's how he founded Zoom. And when COVID came, it propelled it, and he became a multi-billionaire in the Forbes list. So I'm sure even in this room, we will get others coming in the years to come. Sande sana.
Thank you so much, the Deputy Governor, for joining us. Thank you for that partnership with the county. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to sincerely thank you for your participation in this event. We are now coming to the close of this opening ceremony. Our tracks start at precisely 11:30, which is 1 minute ago. So we need to be in our track. So we want to just have a brief ceremony to acknowledge those who are able to join us for this occasion. Sylvia, are you ready with your team, please? We want that session just now. We want to just present a token of appreciation to our chief guest and to our representatives from the ministry and from the county government who have joined us. So, where are we starting with the chief guest, please? Then we'll go down the ladder. Forgive me if I break protocol, but in the interest of time. So, Bona Principal, please, I'll call upon you just to appreciate our chief guest for taking time to be with us this day. Just a small token of appreciation. It's not a gift, so don't register it in. Thank you so much. Next, we were expecting the county to be here with us. On behalf of the county government, we have our Deputy Governor. Thank you so much for joining us today. We also just want to appreciate your having come to RVTTI and give you a small memento. So maybe I'll call upon the chairman of the Board of Governors. We've had a long-standing good relationship with the county of Uasin Gishu, and they were the first to sponsor technical students to train here and then put them forward to train in KTTC as teachers, trainers, and now they are actively engaged in serving the county. Next, we have Sylvia. Please come. Our immediate former principal, chief principal, Dr. Edwin Tarnum. You laid a good foundation on which we continue to build. So I'll call upon our chief editor to, he started the journal and gave you a job to do. Now you can also appreciate him. Now, Professor Tivet, if I say Professor Tivet, it's our chairman of the board. Our principal would like to appreciate the work that you are now doing in RVTTI, and you have started a long time to do for the Tivet sector. Our principal, please award our chairman of board. So thank you so much. We wanted to appreciate those who are here. And because our tracks have started, with your permission, Bwana Principal, we shall bring this session to a close. Our chief guest, thank you so much for having joined us and graced this occasion. And all members, our tracks now are running in a very interesting building, which has two names. I'll use the earlier name now, the Virtual Learning Center. We have 4 tracks that are running simultaneously. And if you have the program, you'll be able to see the different tracks. You can be able to join them and participate in any of those tracks. But when we leave here, the invited guests, you're welcome for some refreshments in our food and beverage restaurant, which is adjacent to this building. All members of RVTTI staff, the principal has graciously provided lunch for all members of RVTTI staff, which shall be served in the dining hall at 2 p.m. So at 2 p.m., all members of RVTTI staff, please go for your lunch in the dining hall. But those who will be participating in the respective tracks, your lunch will be in the FBR2. The invited guests will be in FBR1. Those in the tracks, you'll be given meal vouchers, which will take you to FBR2 for our refreshments and lunch. Thank you. I'm informed by the chairman of our board that the vice chancellor of University of Eldoret has sent a representative, Professor Yunus. Professor Samir Sitati, are you present? Please, thank you, Professor Samir Sitati. Thank you so much. Sorry for that. More University. Sometimes I confuse the two, forgive me. I'm told Professor Sitati was a student here, that truth, an alumnus of RVTTI. So thank you so much. And now, as we wind up this session, our conference coordinator will say something brief, and then we'll close.
Thank you, sir. I want you to announce that immediately, because we have so many people online waiting for us to start the session, the online session, I would kindly ask the session moderators and the rapporteurs to go straight to, we are going to the Virtual Learning Center. They are labeled, and those of you who are also presenters, find your way to those rooms. They are all in Virtual Center, Virtual Learning Center. We shall show you where it is. Thank you.
So as we leave, please we'll have a closing prayer here, just quickly. And then we have our group photo with the chief guests, the board of governors, and the county representative just outside the library, and then we'll be able to disperse. Let's all rise for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you so much for the session that we have had. As we progress with the activities of the day, we pray for your continued presence and guidance. Grant everybody who has joined us and as they leave, and those who are traveling, journey mercies as they travel to and fro, and grant everyone good health as they stay with us here through this conference. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you so much. Welcome to the 9th RVTTI International Conference. It is running online, streaming online. The event is being covered by Ablin Media.